Yo, what's going on, Valoramous Vanguards? And in today's DJ tutorial, we're going to discuss why I made the jump from the DDJ-1000 to the DDJ-FLX10 in 2026. This was a long overdue transition for myself, but I made this switch for three primary reasons. So the DDJ-1000, which was released in 2018, came before some of these advances that you're seeing right now in 2026 in artificial intelligence and AI. Now, the DDJ-FLX10 was released in 2023, and this is on the front end of this AI revolution that's occurring right now in society. But I made this switch for three primary reasons. One is stem separation, so you have three parts where you can separate the stems of these tracks, and that is drums, vocals, and instrumental. A second reason is the beat effects part select, where you can apply effects to specific sections. So this signifies the intertwining of the worlds between the DJ and the producer. So if you have producer ears, you're gonna like this reason and this change a lot from the DDJ-1000 to the DDJ-FLX10. And then the third reason is the mix point link feature, which is gonna allow you as the DJ to make more seamless transitions, faster transitions, more efficient transitions, and it will buy you time to focus on other effects on your set, such as applying beat effects or engaging with the crowd on the microphone, etc. So all in all, the reason why I made this change was, one, it was long overdue, but two, primarily because with advances of artificial intelligence, I believe it's firmly time to start adopting these changes into our workflows as a DJ. So without further ado, we're gonna bring my camera around, bird's eye view, on top of the DDJ-FLX10. I'm gonna show you my methods for incorporating these three features into the DDJ-FLX10. And by the end of this video, you will understand why I made this switch. And as I've said in previous videos, the DDJ-FLX10 is an evolution, not a revolution from the DDJ-1000. There's still some issues with the artificial intelligence in terms of the stem separation, but I think subsequent iterations from Alpha Theta is going to, we're only gonna see improvements in terms of the stem separation feature. Right now, you're hearing those artifacts, but I think in the future, those are gonna become less and less of an issue. And it really makes sense to start to incorporate these features into your workflow now. So let's get to it. Okay, so here's a bird's eye view of the DDJ-FLX10. You can see right here from the nomenclature. So the first reason why I love the DDJ-FLX10 and why I made the transition from the DDJ-1000 and upgraded to this piece of equipment is obviously because of the stem separation feature. So you have drums, vocal, instrumental. And if you're playing a track, if you deselect instrumental or drums, you will only have the vocal. And the vocal is green, and now you have a ring around the jog wheel. So that's how you know you have the vocals soloed. Now, you can obviously hear some artifacts. It's not perfect. It sounds a little bit like it's underwater, but it's not bad. And it allows you to effectively use this as a sample, like an acapella, to mix in during your DJ sets. With this part instant doubles feature, is if you have a track playing, you can press shift and then press the vocals here, for example. And now you have the stems separated. You have vocals playing here, and you have just the drums and the instrumental with just the red and the blue, red and blue highlighted. Or you can select vocals again, and now you're playing vocals on both sides. This is just the vocals, or and you can scratch with this too. Okay, so that's the first feature that I like. The second feature that I like is this FX part select. So like the stems separation, you have the colors here for vocals, drums, and instrumental. So as a producer, you're gonna be able to use your producer ears and make your sets sound that much better because you're gonna know how to apply these effects like you're a producer. So if I'm only selecting the vocals, you can use effects like echo or reverb and only apply to the vocals. So here's what this could sound like. And you see if you cut the track out, you have a little bit of that echo or reverb effect that hangs on. So it sounds pretty good. So that's the second thing I like. Second example, with this FX Parta select feature, a lot of times drums will sound best for a feature like slip roll, only applying this to the drums and maybe put it on like 1/4 or 1/8 note right here, or beat. Here's what this could sound like. It's only applied to the drums. 1/8, too fast. You could add slip roll to your snare drums here. This is the buildup. So that's the second part I like. And then the third part that I like is gonna be this mix link feature. Now it's gonna be better if I show you this in Rekordbox, but I will show you what I'm doing on the hardware first, and then I'll show you the software. So what this will allow you to do is you will be able to set your mix out and your mix in points in advance. So what you have to do is you have to go into Rekordbox DJ software and click on the mix out button, and you have to do everything on the incoming track. So I have a different track that's incoming, and these are my own tracks, but it's a different track that's incoming. And so as one track is playing, you're gonna press this mix link feature, and then you're gonna use these buttons to find your mix out point on the top track. And then you're gonna press the mix in point of the incoming track, and then press link. And the link must be totally solid for this to work. And see, it just started automatically. So you want to mess with that because that is a very useful feature. This is going to make your sets much more efficient and allow you to do other things such as applying beat effects, sound color effects, hopping on the microphone, engaging with the audience. And when we get into Rekordbox, I'm going to show you an additional feature you can apply, which is the silent feature. But effectively, let's rewind this again. So we're going to go back here, playing this. Now we're gonna line up. So we're gonna line up the so we found the mix out point. Now we're gonna find the mix in point. Now we're gonna press link, and now we're gonna press shift and link again to silence everything. And now it's only gonna start it only starts from the mix in point and not the beats preceding that. And what that allows you to do, this mix link feature, is it helps you maintain a higher level of energy in your sets. It is very beneficial because you'll be able to play a much more high octane set during those peak hours. So this is definitely a feature to explore and also master because it's gonna help you be a much better DJ. Okay, what's going on, Valoramous Vanguards? This is the Rekordbox DJ version 7.0 or above software screen. So what I'm gonna show you here in this tutorial is how to activate and utilize the mix point link panel and the mix point link feature. So what I'm going to show you here is the set of actions you will implement or undertake within the Rekordbox DJ software. Now there is a concurrent and sometimes simultaneous set of actions that you will perform on the DDJ-FLX10 hardware, which I showed you in the previous video. But what I'm going to show you here is going to be the actions you will take within the software. I think it's more important that you understand the software because you are going to see this visually, and that's how you will know that you have performed the technique or the trick correctly. And a bit of advice here is I absolutely 100% recommend that you practice this technique at home before you try this out live, because the first time that I tried implementing this trick, even after watching a tutorial, I committed an error too, which did not allow me to successfully perform the trick. So I'm going to explain what you're doing here in the software by showing you the buttons you will press, the tabs you will press, while also explaining to you the buttons that you will press on the actual hardware. So I'm going to explain both sides of the technique, the hardware and the software, but what you will see in front of you is predominantly going to be the software. So first, when you are playing a track out live, of course, when you're in this performance mode, you're going to see the track moving from left to right. So this track right now is playing at the beginning. You can see my mouse cursor. And then you're going to have another track that is queued up. This is going to be the incoming track. So this incoming track, you are going to start to program where you're going to have your mix in point. So for me, the mix in point is going to be this second cue point, or B as in boy or Bravo. It's this blue cue point. This is going to be the mix in. Now I already know in my head that the mix out point is going to be the first beat of the outro section, which if you've been watching this channel for a while, you will know that my mix out point for a lot of tracks is hot cue point number 5, which is hot cue E as in echo. It's this green cue point, and it's the first beat of the outro section. This is the mix out point. Now, what you can do while you're playing this track out live is you can use this mix point link feature to automate this transition to where it will alleviate you from having to press play and be in time with the beat and with the transition in order to transition the tracks from the outbound track to the incoming track. So effectively what you're doing is you are automating part of the process, which will economize your time, make your sets more efficient. It's going to optimize the set of techniques and tricks you must implement as a DJ and allow you to focus on other parts of your DJ set. So here's what you will do. As the track is playing, you're going to press this button right here, which is this mix point link panel feature. And this is going to show a conceptual overview of the tracks. Now, the track is still going to be playing. You see the track is still playing right here in its preview mode. You're not going to see the cursor up here. So the first action you will take is you're going to set the mix out point of the outgoing track. You're going to use the buttons on the hardware on the DDJ-FLX10 decks themselves, but you're going to use the buttons on the inbound track. So not the deck that's currently playing, but the opposite deck. You're going to press that right arrow button under mix point select, and you're going to press right until you find the mix out point. Now I've found the mix out point by pressing the mix point right deck button 2, maybe 3 times, depending on where you want to set this mix out point. You will see the brackets on the left and right, so you effectively, on the top deck, which is the outbound track, you have this highlighted portion. And right where the 5th cue point, E or echo, the green cue point, is located, that is where the mix-up point is going to begin. Now, to set your mix-in point, which is the second track, track 2, or your inbound track, you're not going to use those same mix point arrows. You're going to press the actual hot cue. So for me, as I discussed previously, it is this hot cue B as in boy or Bravo. It is that blue cue point. And once I press that, you notice that track 2 is now highlighted with the inbound bracket. So you see an outbound bracket on track 1, and you see an inbound bracket on track 2. That is how you know you performed the second step correct. Now the third step is going to be to link the 2 tracks, and you have to link the 2 tracks with the green, the flashing green, the mix point link button. And once that mix point link button is no longer flashing, that's how you know you performed the technique successfully. So it is a 3-step process. Finally, there is an optional 4th step that you can do, and that is you can press shift and link, and then that will make this transition more abrupt because you're going to silence or mute the section before the inbound cue point, which is effectively, see on track 2 or deck 2, from hot cue point A to hot cue point B, that red cue point to the blue cue point, that section can be muted. So if I press shift and link, see that? It just went silent. So now what this will do is when I have the 2 tracks linked successfully, the inbound track will start playing only from B and not conduct this elongated mixing transition where you hear some beats from, in this case, for example, this extended intro section. So this is if you want to surprise the audience. If you want to have a more elongated, natural sounding transition, then do not have that portion be silent. So I'm going to show you what this looks like on the screen itself. Once it gets, now you are seeing the cursor on this mix point link preview. You see it, it's now almost at the D cue point. That's the 4th cue point. So you see the cursor on the mix point link preview, and you see it now on the track preview itself. So now I'm pressing the link button. It's now a solid link. So now you know the tracks are linked, and you're also going to see a mix point link green highlight on the jog wheel deck itself. Now you see cursors on both. It means the transition's happening. So there you have it. That is how you do the mix point link feature. Now, I am going to show you also what will happen if you have this silence implemented before the mixing point. This is what this will look like. So we're gonna start to mix the track. It's silent. Okay, the track should link. I press the green. So typically, how I do this, it's not mixing the tracks right now from that extended intro, but you want the volume of the inbound track to be lower than the outbound track, so it's not too much of a surprise. Okay, so that is two versions of the mix point link feature. You have the silent feature, so if you want a more of a shocking surprise transition, or you can do the elongated natural transition, but again, it's a three-step process. You're identifying these brackets of the outbound track and the inbound track, so the mix out point specifically and the mix in. The mix out point is found by using the mix point link right and left arrow buttons to identify that mix out point, and then the mix in point is identified on the same deck using the hotkeys, and then you press the flashing green link button. Once that flashing green link button is no longer flashing, that's how you know that the technique or the trick has been programmed successfully and you are now ready to go. And then once the outbound track reaches that designated mix out point, it's going to trigger the activation of the second track if you're in silent mode. If you're not in silent mode and it looks like this, the track will begin playing once it reaches that first beat of the track or the first transit of the track, which in this case is hotcue A. It's going to start to mix in the track gradually. So this is advances of AI, but this is definitely going to help you in your sets because you're going to start to automate certain tasks that DJs had to do manually in the past, and it's going to alleviate you from having to be in time, having to press play at certain moments. And overall, this will definitely help allow you as a DJ to maintain a very high level of energy. So this is a technique or a trick that's best performed during peak hour of DJ sets. All right, so there you have it. If you want to learn more about the DDJ-FLX10, then click on this video right here or here, and I will see you in the next video.
3, 2, 1, lose it.